I have a question. How do relationships fail? Now, when I say relationships, I'm not just talking in terms of intimate relationships. I mean, that is also, included in what I'm saying, but intimate relationships, partnerships, uh, friendships, whatever the situation is, as long as it's a relationship, my question is, how do relationships fail? Could it be insecurities? Could it be the outsiders trying to get in? Could it be doubt? Personally, I feel that outsiders can contribute a lot to what happens on the inside of a relationship. And that usually happens when outsiders tend to find their ways into the inside of the relationship. But one thing I do believe is outsiders cannot get in without a key, which means that the ones that are in the inside have to either allow the outsiders in, or they are giving the outsiders permission to enter. To give the outsiders permission to become an influential insider means to carry on a conversation with another individual about your partner. This gives them key card access to have an opinion that will soon be viewed as judgment that will play on your emotions. A lot of people talk about how people are always talking and they're saying this and they're doing this and all of these things, but the only way that that could ever affect you is through doubt. That brings me to the topic of doubt. Doubt becomes an issue in a relationship because when you think about doubt, you think of, that little pebble seed of no hope. And the crazy thing about doubt is you can't breathe life into something that does not exist. If you got people on the outside making statements about whatever it is that's going on the inside in which they supposedly do not know, then that puts you in a situation where clearly you are doubting something. Because like I said, you can't breathe life into a doubt that does not exist. It has to be a doubt that is building up inside of you already before people started talking. Like, it's that small little thing. And that brings me to the insecurities and the lack of confidence in yourself. But it also brings me into the fact of, not letting go of your past situations, because that's where doubt usually comes from, right? Some people unfortunately carry the burden of suffering from a bad case of what I like to call the negative mental affirmation obsession. These are those who have yet to deal with their negative trapped feelings of emotions towards past relationships. You'll know this person because they live in a world of compare and contrast versus allowing their new partner the opportunity at a fair shot, because they are always speaking negative things of the past into existence without realizing one key fact. The power of the tongue is fierce. You can't create doubt from someone who is I don't want to say perfect, because everyone is flawed in their own way, but a person that is just right for you, unless you're just used to being done a certain type of way and you're like, okay, this can't be normal because this person is not crossing me the way that my previous relationship crossed me. It's not fair to that person. And when you put someone in that type of situation, they would probably be the ones to say, you know what, I'm going to throw in the towel before you would even get to that point, mainly because of your doubt and your insecurities. And this person over here was probably as pure as they can be, as pure as they can be. But again, you allow the outsiders to feed energy into something that doesn't exist, but it became a living form because of you and your own thought process and your own ways of thinking of things. So when you are dealing with the lack of confidence, it really does damage you. It puts you in a place where you don't feel qualified. You don't feel like, you can do certain things when you're promised the world. A lot of people don't recognize that. But you feel less than. So because you feel less than, and when you see someone doing something that you feel that you should be doing, it kind of messes with you just a little bit. And most people won't even admit that. They won't admit it. But you know why? It's pride and ego. You won't admit it because you also don't want to feel like a wussy. I guess that's the appropriate name to call it. But I mean, it kind of is what it is. But fear is another thing that plays a key role into a lot of this because, a lot of us, we fear the what ifs. We fear the things that can go right, and we also fear the things that can go oh so wrong. So when you're living on that fear and you're not allowing that fear to ignite you to do the right things, then you are allowing that fear to do what it's designed to do for most people, which is to keep them stagnated and to keep them from pushing forward through to their dreams or getting that level of greatness or whatever they're trying to pursue within that relationship. It stops them from getting to that point. So I would say the outsiders is what causes relationships to fail. I feel that, like I said, the insiders allow the outsiders to come inside. So the outsiders would be one. Fear is another one. The fear of successful relationships and the fear of unsuccessful relationships causes you to remain stagnated. Doubt is another one. Again, like I said, you can't breathe life into something that isn't there. So you would always know that something was there, even if it was a pebble seed, something was there. Because if someone can tell you something and it starts to breathe life and take a life form of its own, that means it was already there. The doubt was already in your mind because it's the only way it can ever surface up to the top. And then insecurities, of course, the lack of confidence in yourself. Listen, you can't compare yourself to anyone. And I wouldn't suggest anyone to sit there and really compare themselves to other people. However, you can reevaluate yourself and really look deep within yourself and figure out, okay, what is it that I want? What is it that I need? All I'm saying is when it comes down to relationships, you have to understand that relationship, there's this thing called partnership, and you have to be a team player. You have to play on one accord. But I want to know you guys' answer. I want to know, how do relationships fail? What's your answer? So I look forward to reading those comments down below. I can't wait to see them because I'm ready to interact on this conversation. You hear me? You hear me? Remember, July the 9th, there will be an event happening right here in Atlanta, Georgia for Thai Elite Network. We are getting all the entrepreneurs together. We're getting all the supporters together. And guess what? We are giving back to the community as well through our Thai Elite Network launch event. So if you haven't done so already, go ahead and get your tickets for the event. It's going to be the bomb. Diggity.com. So I look forward to reading those comments and let's chat.